This message is going to be called Your Pearls Are Not for Everybody. Okay? Pearls are something beautiful, right? They're something very pretty. It takes a lot of time to form, and they're not meant for everybody. They're not meant to just give out to anybody who asked for one of your pearls. Okay? And later we're going to get into, we'll say what pearls are you talking about. We're going to get into that. And the way this came to me was somebody recently had asked me for money. All right? Someone going through something, going through stuff. He's like, man, I really need money and this and that. And it was just weird to me because I knew who this person is and I know their lifestyle and all that. I'm like, this is kind of weird. You know, you must be pretty desperate to be asking me money because I know you have family here. You know, so it must be you're at some point of some kind of desperation that you're asking me for money, you know. So I ask him some questions like, well, what's going on? Oh, you know, I'm moving out of my place, this and that, and I just need money to get out of here and this stuff. Okay. You can ask my wife, I thought about it, I'm like, should I give this guy money or not? And the Spirit was like, nope, don't give this guy money. And I'm like, but Lord, you know, your word says we're supposed to help the poor, those in need. We're supposed to do all these things, right? And the Spirit said, no, don't do it. You want to know why? Because what you're going to give him, he's not going to use it for what is appropriate. He's not going to value what is being given to him to go to another level. He's going to use what you're giving to him to just get lower, 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 and lower. He's not going to use that to spend it on something that will edify him. He's going to use it on something to just his fix, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, right? That's why I don't do it. Okay, your pearls aren't for everybody. I know some people are probably gasping like, oh, what do you mean? I give every poor person money. I give everybody. Well, no. And you know what? The word even tells us it ain't like that. It's not for everybody. Okay? Your pearls is what is most important to you. Your pearls are those things about you that are valuable and you don't give it out so easily. So these are things like your trust, your love, your mind, you guys can fill in the blanks, probably come up with more than I can. But to me, when I thought about my pearls, those are the things that came to me. My trust, that's something very important that it takes time to build with somebody. It doesn't just happen like that. You know, your love, that's another thing where I don't just give it out like that. There's different loves. All right, I love my brothers in Christ, sisters in Christ, but that love, like I love my wife, I love my mom, my dad, those are ones that are different. Especially that love when it comes to your wife and people like that. That's a different love. You don't just give it out like that. That takes time to build up to that. You don't just date the first night and just like, I love you. If that happens, you're probably going to run away like, this will be the first and the last date. Now, some people, I don't know, they do the whole love at first sight. I mean, to each his own. But, you know, whatever. But it takes time. It takes time to build up to that moment where you can tell somebody, I love you. All right? That's another pearl that you're giving out to somebody. All right? And we don't just give that out to everybody. Right? I love everybody. Do you really? No, you don't. Okay? So, yeah. And there's things inside of us, our bodies as well. Those are pearls. Who we give our bodies to, what we do with our bodies. And speaking of that, there's pearls that we have inside of us that people don't understand are actually valuable. Because they grew up and they've been taught, well, your body is for this and that. So they don't value it because this is what I was told and that's okay until God opened my eyes and says, no, your body is more than just an object. For guys and girls. Same with your trust. I used to just trust everybody and I kept getting hurt every time. Well, yeah, you're going to because it wasn't meant to just give out to everybody, you know? You know, you keep falling in love with the same person over and over and over again, you keep getting hurt over and over and over again, it's going to keep happening over and over and over again because you keep giving it your pearl to the wrong person, okay? And it takes work. People should be working to get these things from you. Again, it takes time. If I want your trust, I have to work for that. You don't just give it to me the first day you meet me kind of thing. It's one thing where you trust that the cashier at McDonald's is going to give you the right change. And I'm talking about that kind of trust. I'm talking about that kind of trust where I'm going to fall off this cliff and you're going to catch me. Right? It's that trust where I married my wife. I trust that if I fall, she's going to come with me and not leave me. Vice versa. All right? That's the kind of trust that takes time to build up to, and you can't just give that to anybody. All right? It takes time to build that relationship, especially when you have been hurt. Because we've given our pearls to people, and we've been hurt. People have trampled over it. We've given them so we can help you, and we've done it, and then they just took it and literally just stomped on them. That's happened before, where we've given someone our trust, we've given someone our love, we've given someone our body, and all they did with it was misuse what was being given to them. They did not use and actually accept the value of what was being given to them, and they didn't use it the right way. They destroyed it, and they trampled over you. So now that that happens to you, you have a hard time doing it again. I have a hard time trusting again. I have a hard time loving again. I have a hard time with my body again. I have a hard time with my mind again. I have a hard time with my emotions because of all the other times people have trampled over those things that I've given away of myself. So now we have difficulty doing these things because of other people misusing what we were giving to them. All right? And then we say these different trust levels that we give to people, right? Like what I spoke about earlier. And not everybody gets that from you. And these things are not meant for everyone. So we'll go to Matthew 7:6. Matthew 7:6, are we there? Yeah, good. Matthew 7:6 says, "Don't give what is holy to dogs, or toss your pearls before pigs, or they will trample them with their feet, turn and tear you to pieces." Now this, when God said this is part of the Sermon on the Mount, okay? Now I'm going to say it again. Don't give what is holy to dogs, or toss your pearls before pigs, or they will trample them with their feet, turn, and tear you to pieces. Who are the dogs? Who are the pigs? Who is God talking about here? And it's crazy the verbiage God used to describe a category of people. Dogs and pigs. Jesus said that? Yes, he did. He did say that. That is how he said there's a category. There's the dogs and there's the pig. There's certain people that act like pigs, and there's certain people that act like dogs. And this is who I'm telling you not to give the holy things to the dogs and not to give your pearls to the pigs. Now I have to discern, well, Lord, who are the pigs and who are the dogs? Who are the people that you're talking about? Who are those pigs and dogs that you're saying I'm not supposed to give these things to, Lord? Are you saying I'm not supposed to share the gospel with everybody? Like, are you saying I'm not supposed to love anybody? Like, what do you mean by what you're saying? Okay? And it's kind of weird because, you know, it hits some people because they're like, man, Jesus, like, I have to think of people that way? Like, you're a pig. You're a dog. No, not giving you one of my pearls, buddy. You're a pig. I wouldn't say that in person. But in my head, I'm like, nah, this one's a pig. This one's a dog. I can't give it to him, you know? But Jesus was very clear. And I think he spoke that way just to show how serious he is about it. You know, because usually when someone talks that way, you're like, whoa, this guy's like... If Jesus said this in this world, it'd be like, that is offensive and not politically correct. Jesus, you better change what you just said, okay? All right? So, they will trample them, turn, and tear you to pieces. All right? So we'll start with who are the dogs. The dogs are the people in your life who come your way, whose only purpose is to trample over what you give them. These are the people that don't understand the value of what you're doing or what you're giving. These are the ones that are constantly coming by, all right, and they always want something from you. Have you ever had those people where they only contact you to get something from you, and that is it? And if they can't get it from you, they're going to go to somebody else until they get what they're looking for. right? Or they're going to get what they're getting from you, and I'm going to go to someone else to get the same thing I got from you, but I'm going to get it from this person as well. And I'm just going to keep on going and going and going because this is how they roll. They're dogs. And in this time period, the dogs of Jerusalem, that's what they did. They were opportunistic. Dead carcasses, this and that. Oh, next. What else can we feed off of? I want to feed off of what's already been, I don't want to work for it. I just want to feed off of what's already been given. I'll just take the scraps, all right? These are the dogs. These are the ones that come into your life. They don't value the pearls that you're giving them. They're not the ones that value the love that you're giving them. They don't appreciate the what you worked so hard for and what was formed in you to actually give. These are the ones that just don't appreciate it. But you have to find out, well, Lord, how do I decipher between the two? How do I decipher between who to give? Because I don't know if they're going to appreciate it or not until I give, right? It doesn't work that way. So what am I going to do? I'll do it the first time. Once I see a pattern and a certain behavior, I'm dealing with the dog. I can't give what is holy right now to the dogs right now. And when he says what is holy, right, there's also the ones where when God says what is holy to the dogs is what is within his realm of his spirit, his gospel, and those spiritual gifts that he's put in you, you don't share that with the dogs. Why? Because the dogs are just going to make fun of you, they're just going to ridicule you, and they just want to see you do it so they can make fun of you. These are the ones that ask, oh, so what is God doing with you? So what's up? What's going on? And they don't really care at all. They're just like, okay, you keep going with that God thing, whatever, and they just make fun of it. They want to trample over it, and they just want to make fun of the gospel, all right? Those are the ones that are not receptive. They are not receptive and ready to receive what God has put inside of you. One day they might be, okay? And this isn't we're separating who hears the gospel or not. It's just I can tell you, but you're not going to receive it. You're not going to accept it. You're not going to accept what God has put in me. You're not going to accept the gifts he's put in me, and you're not going to appreciate it. You're not going to appreciate what he's put in me. You're not going to appreciate what he's doing. You're just going to take it and say, oh, throw it out. And we talked about it earlier, how the people closest to us, the ones that know us, those are usually the ones that don't really appreciate it just because they know you. They know your flaws, they know you your whole life, and they don't necessarily appreciate what God is doing with your life. I'm doing with a dog. And the crazy thing is, as I read this, I'm like, I've been that. I've been the dog, and I've been the pig to somebody. And I can say it, I've been the dog to my parents. They can watch this later. I've been the dog to my parents. I just want, hey, give me this, give me that, give me this. And they probably felt like, man, this kid, bro. I mean, we have to because he's your son. But when I was reading this, I'm like, man, like, I really did, I don't want to say take advantage, but there's times where I'm like, I was very, very, like, just doing that. In a sense, using them, you can say, like, oh, I want this from you, I want this from you, I want this from you. But I didn't necessarily appreciate what they were doing for me at the time until later. But that's going to happen too. And you're saying, man, I remember this, but I don't appreciate what he was doing until now. I look back and I'm like, wow, what he was doing, man, I should have took advantage of it. I should have took advantage of what was given to me at that time, but I didn't because I wasn't ready. The same way as if I'm 15 years old, my dad gives me $10,000, I'm not going to value that or appreciate it. I'm going to spend it on some stupid stuff. I don't know what I'd spend it on, but I wouldn't spend it correctly, to prepare myself for the future. That's why you don't give a 12 or 15-year-old that much money. They don't know what to do with it. They're not going to evaluate it. They're not going to appreciate it. And that's why, even when it comes to those people, they're going to seem so needy. The dogs and the pigs are going to seem so needy, and they're going to make such a case for themselves. All right? They're going to make such a case to receive something from you, but the Spirit has to tell you, am I dealing with a dog, a pig? What am I dealing with here, Spirit? Because I work hard. We work hard for what was given to us. We work hard for our money, and yes, it's for other people. It belongs to God. But the way we disperse it, God, you're the manager of my stuff. I don't just give to every single charity. That's another one. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could, whatever I'm going to say. This whole, I give to every single charity. Oh, really? Okay, so you just give it to anybody who says, hey, we have a good cause. Everybody has a good cause. Everybody, it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause. Oh, I understand it's for a good cause. Now I have to figure out what cause the Spirit wants me to give to. I'm not here to give to every single cause because everybody has one. It's what has God put in my heart? What has he put in me to actually give to? Okay? It's not just throwing money out here everywhere. No, what has God put in me to pour into? What cause has he told me to pour into? And that's the best part, because this world is very big and God is putting different causes in everybody's heart and everybody's mind, so it all kind of works out. All right? But if you're the one who just gives to every single thing, that's misuse. You have to figure out, Spirit, what do you want me to pour into? All right? And these are the people, like I said, who reject the gospel of Christ and only want to ridicule it. These are the people that take advantage of you and don't realize the great opportunities that comes to them. You know how many people I know that have thrown away great opportunities? They've been given second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances. Okay? And every single time they did not appreciate it and they just blew it away. And then they ask themselves, oh, they try to point, the dog's going to point the finger at everybody. It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. The dog's never going to point the finger at themselves. They're never going to say, you know what, it's my fault. The pig ain't going to do it either. They're not going to value it. They're not going to appreciate it. They're going to blame everybody else for all the failures in life and all that stuff, instead of saying, you know what, I misused what was being given to me. But I am ready now to receive what is mine, and to receive, Lord, and I'm ready to receive what you have for me. Because if God, even if he gave me this when I was 12 years old, I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for that. He gives you things as you become ready for it. And in the same sense, we're kind of the same way. Well, God, I want this, I want that. You're not ready for it. Now, he's not looking down and saying, oh, you're a dog, you're a pig. No, he's just saying, hey, you're not ready for it. So I can't give this to you. Like the prodigal son, when the father gave the kid his inheritance, he went off and just blew it all away. He spent it all. He did not appreciate it. He didn't value it. What did he do? He ended up coming back home. He was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was stupid. Can you please accept me just as a servant? And he's like, no. You're my son. I'm going to accept you and put you in the same place as when you left, because that's what God does. All right? So if you've been that person that I blew away this opportunity, I blew away that opportunity, I just keep messing up, there's hope. You always come back, and God's not going to put you lower. He's always going to put you in the same, hey, where you came back from, I'm going to put you in that same exact place. All right? And the dog is always the one who's constantly looking for food, and if they can't get it from you, they're going to go to someone else. So the one asking me, hey, can I have money? Not just ask me, they're going to ask somebody else. I'm going to make a little collection of just monies of the people that I ask. Hey, I'm going to get you from this, I'm going to get this from you, I'm going to get this from you, I'm going to get this from you. And I just kind of go around to everybody and just collect. That's what the dog does. All right? And if you've ever dealt with someone, like I said, who most of the time they're only calling you when they want something. And what God put in you is holy. And you need to discern when this needs to be released and when it doesn't need to be released. All right? You need to understand, when do I stop giving and when do I keep giving? Because at some point when you're dealing with these people, you're going to figure out, I need to stop. How is it that they have literally the same problem every week and every month? We're not seeing progress. So obviously my pearls are not helping you. We got to figure something else out. Obviously what's been put in me is not helping you. We need to do something about this. We need to figure something out, because there is no progress. So now you have to decide, I'm just going to stop giving. As hard as it can be, and I'm sure some of us have done this, it's like, you know, I'm done with you. You need help. I cannot do anything for you anymore. I can't do anything for you at this point. And it's sometimes it's our family members, it's our closest friends, and it's really hard for you to say, I can't help you. Because I keep working so hard to give you what you need, and what are you doing? You're going around and turning around and trampling and tearing me to pieces. I'm the one who's going to sleep at night. I'm the one who's over here in tears, and you're off just enjoying and not appreciating what was given to you. You're just misusing it, and I'm over here just slaving myself to give you everything I need, and I'm the one in pieces here. That's what ends up happening. I'm the one praying, I'm the one doing all these things, and I just feel like my life is falling apart because of you, the dog, the pig. And I can't have that. I can't. I'm not saying, oh, don't help people, this and that. Like I said, But you have to discern at what point do I just need to stop. And people think because you're Christian, you're supposed to give it all away, give it all away. Oh, you're a Christian? That's not very Christian. You're supposed to give me this and you're supposed to give that. No, I'm not. You're a dog. You're a pig. And if you read his word, you would know I ain't supposed to give these things to you. Because we've already done it before to you, and you don't know how to use it. You don't know how to appreciate it. When you learn how to appreciate and value it, then I'll give you a pearl. But right now, you are not ready to accept the pearls from me at all, whatsoever. So when you toss your pearls to the pigs, they're going to wallow with it. And wallow means to sit around in the mud, and they're not going to value it. They're going to say, I gave this to you. You're going to say, I gave this to you, and this is what you do with it. And then you've done it before and over the time. They just keep doing the same thing. Another thing about the dog is they return to their vomit. Have you ever seen that? Yeah. Dogs return to their vomit, right? So I'm giving you a pearl, dog, but you already have it in your mind. Hey, you're going to give this to me, but I'm going to go back to my vomit. I just need this for now, so I can make it back to my vomit. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know, what I'm asking from you, this pearl I'm asking, what I want from you is just for me to make my way to take the train back to my vomit. To take the train back to my alcohol, take the train back to my drugs, take the train back to whatever sinful nature I have that's taken over me, that it's made me to this point where I have to ask people for these things to go back to my vomit. And some of us have been there before. All right, there are people that have been there before where you're like, before you knew Christ, you were that person just going around asking, so you can go right back to your vomit. So you can get that money and whatever it is, the food, whatever it is, to use it to get back to the vomit that the enemy has you coming back to. All right? Now let's talk about the pearls. All right? You know how a pearl is made? Any idea? They come in an oyster. But we don't know what's happening in that oyster. We just know they come from oysters. Well, I want to know what's happening inside that oyster. What's happening in there that this beautiful thing comes out of something so ugly? All right? Because oysters are ugly. Have you ever seen them? They're not pretty. All right? But they form one of the most rarest, nicest jewels, the natural ones, because now they like mass produce them. They put a bunch of... But when you get one actually natural, I just picked up this oyster from the ocean and boom, there is one. Those are very rare to come by, all right? So it starts with a particle getting into an oyster, all right? It starts with something foreign getting inside of the oyster, all right? So once that foreign thing gets inside of the oyster, its defense mechanisms start to begin, all right? And yes, oysters have defense mechanisms, okay? Even though they just sit there, I don't know if they swim, I don't know what they do. But they have a defense mechanism, all right? So that same material, like, you know, the shells on the other side of it, but the other side, that is what pearls are made of, all right? And that's the material that they pretty much call it mother of pearl. That's what they call it, all right? That's that material, all right? It's the inside of the mantle of the oyster, all right? So when this thing gets inside of the oyster now wants to make sure it doesn't go anywhere or doesn't cause any damage to it. So what it does is starts covering it up with that material. It just keeps putting layers and layers and layers and layers over it until it becomes that ball, until it becomes that really shiny pearl, all right? And it's made out of that same material that's on the inside of that shell, okay? And it does this. It keeps putting it over and over and over and covering it again to make sure that it doesn't get out and cause any damage to the oyster, because the oyster doesn't know what it's going to do. I don't know what this thing is, and I'm not going to let it hurt me. So I'm going to put things over and over and over and over and over it again until it becomes what? A pearl. And it becomes bigger depending how big whatever it is that got into the oyster. So there's big ones. That means whatever this thing was pretty big. So when you go to get a pearl, there's something in there. There's something inside of that pearl, all right? I don't know what it is. It could be anything, but when you get the pearl, there's something inside of it, all right? And where I go with this is, only you know how much work went into forming your pearl, okay? Because what the enemy does is he throws things at you, he throws things inside you, he's going to throw things at your mind, he's going to throw things at your heart okay? And when that happens, all right, what was meant to destroy you now really ends up being a pearl, okay? Because now, whatever that thing was that came inside, now I'm building up, building up, building up. The Spirit is defending me. The Lord is defending me. So I don't really need to do anything. I just gotta let the Spirit do its work. And now what was really made to kill me ends up being my pearl, okay? Only you know these things. Only you know those things that the enemy came to you and said, this is what I want to do to you. You said, no, you're not. And at the time, it's a foreign object, it's something weird, it's something uncomfortable, it's something we've never done before. But as we see now, layers and layers and layers and layers are being put up against it. And then it becomes a what? It becomes a pearl. Now this pearl is eventually now going to be released to bless somebody else. Right? But pearls take 5 to 20 years to form. So something that took me 5 to 20 years to form and to gain, to just give it away to somebody who's not going to appreciate it and value it, it ain't happening. You don't know how much time went into making my pearl. You don't know how much anger, how much stress, how much tears, how much sweat, how much blood went into this pearl forming for what came to attack me in my life. You don't know how much it cost me. And then this thing, pearls have different value depending on where they came from. They have different value. They don't all cost the same. It depends on how big they are, how small they are. It depends on these things. And you got pearls that are bigger and smaller than the others. And only you know the value of what you have. And the people who don't understand the value of what they have, they're dogs and pigs. That's what they are. That's what they become because they don't understand their value. No one has told them yet, hey, your trust isn't for that. Hey, your love isn't for that. Hey, your body isn't for that. You are something that is valued. And until you start valuing yourself, ain't nobody else going to do it for you. Okay? That's why you keep getting hurt in the first place. So out of the defense, the oyster builds that shell around it. So what the enemy intended for you for being an attack, it actually ends up being my pearl. That's why when these things come, oh, you can come. Enemy, you can come, you can throw whatever it is you want at me because I understand already this is just going to become a pearl. So it's okay. In a sense, you could say that's why Paul said it. He's like, I enjoy it. I enjoy the suffering. It's fine. You can take it. I can take it. Because all this is going to form in me is just going to form a pearl. That's all it's going to do. The enemy, the thing is, the enemy goes in thinking, oh, man, this guy made it form into a pearl. He didn't allow it to destroy him. All right? It's the same way when Jesus rose up from the grave. On that day, he was caught by surprise. He didn't know Jesus was going to be a pearl so valuable to save humanity. All right? So the next time that trial comes, the next time that circumstance comes, you have to understand this is just going to form a pearl in me. That's all this is going to do. It's going to form a pearl in me, and I'm going to use it to bless somebody else. But because this pearl in me took so much out of me to form it, it took so much out of me, it took so many years for me to finally get it. Because it takes us a while to just finally get it. You know, it's like, man, I finally got it. It clicked, you know? And sometimes it will take that long for it to just finally click, because it took me a while for things to just finally click. Like, oh, so that's what this is about, and this and this. It takes a while. So for me, when I'm giving these things out, I have to discern, is this person trying to make fun of my pearls? Is this girl trying to stomp all over my pearls? What are they trying to do here? Because if that's what you're trying to do, I'm going to stop giving it away. And I can give it to someone who's actually going to appreciate and value what God has put in me. All right? And it's the same with guys and girls. They don't understand, especially when you're having sex and all that, just your body is a temple of God. All right? That is a pearl, and you can't just easily just give it away like that. You know? You can't do that. Those are people that are just stomping on you, they trample over you, and that's it. I got what I wanted and I go. And it goes both ways. I don't say, oh, it's the guy and the girl. No, it goes both ways. There are girls that are the same way. All right? Girls do these one-night stand too, and the guy's like, dang, man, like I really liked her. And it goes both ways. All right? And they're going to turn, and they're going to tear you to pieces. Like I said before, They're the ones that are go happily along. I got what I wanted, and you're the one who is now torn to pieces because of you gave something so precious, something so valuable. You gave it to a pig and a dog, and you're watching them just tear it to pieces, and you're sitting there like, "What are you doing?" You know, like people with a lot of people have like the nice, real collectible cars, whatever. If I came in and just scratched it with the key, "What are you doing?" They're gonna go crazy. Because that's something very, very valuable to them. I don't know how hard they worked for that, right? The same way, if someone came in here and, I don't know, put a hole through my window or my wall, yeah, it's replaceable, but you don't know how hard I worked to get this house. You're just come in here and destroy it? No. Especially that house that's inside of us that God is just constantly building. I'm not going to just let anybody come in here and try to take it down. You don't know how hard I've worked. Not even how much I've worked, how much I've had to endure to get to this point. You don't know how much I've had to endure from the enemy, from the Lord, just for my house to be the way it looks, all right? You don't know how long it took to actually get the roof on this place, because God actually started building walls, this and that. I just recently got the roof. I'm not going to let you come in here and destroy my roof. It ain't going to happen. These are my pearls. These are what's most important and precious and valuable to me. And I'm not just going to give it to some pig or some dog. Let's go to Isaiah 45. Isaiah 45, number 3. And it says, "I will give you the treasures of darkness and riches from secret places, so that you may know that I, the Lord, the God of Israel, call you by your name." Those treasures, we can consider pearls as treasures, all right? Gold as treasures, all those things are treasures. And God said he will give you the treasures of darkness and riches from secret places. Darkness means these are the treasures that nobody sees just walking by. It's hidden, it's secret, it's dark. We don't necessarily see it. And usually people, you know, when they're walking by and stuff, we're looking for where there's light. I'm not looking for where there's dark. So there are things that God is going to give to you that are in those secret places where not everybody looks, and they are specific to you. For when you look, you're going to find it. And it's specific to everybody. Those pearls, not everybody's pearls are the same thing. What God gave Johnny, the same thing what God gave me. What God gave you, you know, salvation's all the same, but the spiritual gifts are all different. There's things that I can do that you can't do. There's things you can do that I can't do. It's just like, man, God gave you that gift. That's your anointing, you know? Not everybody's meant to do everything in the church, okay? Not everybody's meant for that. For the body of Christ, not everybody's meant to be the arm. Not everybody's meant to be the neck. Not everybody's meant to be the head. Whoever told you you were meant to do that, no, you weren't, okay? Sorry, I gotta tell you, no. You have to find, man, what has God called me to? What is the pearl that God put in me to be used for his glory and for his kingdom? All right? I will give you the treasures of darkness and riches from secret places, so that you may know that I, the Lord, the God of Israel, called you by your name. You need to find that secret place where it's just you and God, and you guys talk and speak. Because that is where that pearl is just going to keep forming and forming and forming itself until it's ready. Because not everybody sees it forming. Only you see it forming. I don't see it forming in you. And some people might see it, they're going to see the fruit of it, but only you know what's going on inside of you and what's forming. I don't know these things. And it's when nobody's looking. It's those things you do when no one's looking, all right? Where when you come out of nowhere and be like, whoa, where did this come from? You didn't know what I was doing in secret. You didn't know that I was on my knees in secret. It's just like David. When David came and killed Goliath, he's like, I've killed tigers, bears, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, I've killed them all, okay? So when I came to this moment, you didn't know what I was doing in secret when I was there with the sheep and everybody's making fun of me and my brothers thought I was here. They didn't know what I was doing there. I was putting in that work. Not everybody's going to see that work that you're putting into, that pearl that's forming. Not everybody's going to see that. And if you're one of those people where I want to do everything for everyone to see it, guess what? It ain't ever going to happen. God is going to take you and put you down and take the one who's in the secret and put them up. That's the way that works. So you need to find that secret place where you actually get to work on the formation of the pearl that's forming inside of you. Because there's the one that's always going to be forming. It ain't just one and that's it. It's going to keep on going. Because with everything the enemy throws, all right, man, there's going to be another pearl. I got to use this for his glory, and I'm going to use this to get to my next level. All right, let's stand up and pray.